We're just waiting. In fact, the thing is, whatever we can take and sell is all we're about. You have an artwork, the Benin bronze head, that is in a museum and making money in the museum. Since they took it, we do not have anything else that matches it, Abi. So we said, bring that one back. Why didn't you tell them to return all the footballers? Since you don't want any of our shining bright lights to be in the museum, but you see, our footballers are in their stadiums, but you didn't tell them to bring them back. You said they should bring the paintings and artworks back. When they bring it back, you put it in Benin. How many people will visit it? Instead of you to go into an agreement with the people that own it, say, you see, we'll leave it with you. You make $2,000 every year, give us $1,000. No. So when it comes to the creative industry and how much we've been trivialized and how much money, I go to some events and some people say, oh, and this is not a joke. I went to Paris with my wife, and when we were shopping, she was picking things. I had my camera. Every time I travel, I have my cameras. I was taking pictures outside, and I'll come back inside the room, and she will pick her sketch suits for banking work. And when she finished selecting everything, the woman that was picking the clothes, I don't speak French, but she went, like, who is this? Who are you? My wife said, oh, that she's a banker, and she's just visiting, she's executive director, Heritage Bank. So, oh, okay, what kind of banking? She said, all banks, then it's a commercial bank, investment banking. And then she turned to him and said, what about him? He said, that's my husband. Okay, what does he do? He said, comedian. She said, oh. Then the boss came down, and she was introducing us to the boss. Came from the loft. And the boss was asking, because she had bought a lot of things, nearly 14,000 euros. So the boss now said, oh, how are you, madam? How's everything? So she introduced us. Say, oh, this woman, Madam Mary, is a banker, a Heritage Bank, and continue. And then the husband, he do nothing. But let me shock you. I know a lot of you that have used my services here know. And some of you know, my wife's salary is monthly and it's between 5 and 8 million. But those of you here who have paid me for my services know that I charge about that amount for one event. But you see, if Davido goes to an MD of a bank and says, give me 3 billion, I want to organize a show in London, they won't give him. But if a car dealer like my brother here goes to a bank and says, give me 3 billion, I want to bring in 12 cars, they will give him. He will sell those cars for 8 months sometimes. Some can be a year. He won't sell all of them. Davido's show one day and it's done. He will give you your 3 billion back plus change. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the problem we have with Africa.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Alibaba. It couldn't have been said any better. Thank you so much. I would love Jay Martins, who is also from the creative industry space, but now he straddles between creative industry and the public sector. I don't know. I'm scared to call him politician because I'm sitting right beside him. He might get offended and push me off stage. But Jay Martins, I would love you to chime in on that as well. Alibaba has brought his perspective as somebody who is practicing in that space. You have been practicing in the space, you're still practicing in the space, but you then have this additional scope of knowledge coming from your involvement in how the policies that drive action come up. So what do you think about this issue where there's hardly mention of the creative industry as a business, but rather as an entertainment, supply of entertainment, and it's more or less trivialized in that manner? What do you think? How does this sound to you, and what do you think can be done from the policy side to address this?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Martins OK Justice. I'm known as J. Martins, but also I work with Abia State government under the leadership of His Excellency Dr. Alex Oti OFR. I'm the Senior Special Assistant on Tourism and Entertainment. So when he says he doesn't know what to, first of all, let me put it this way: it's an honor to sit here with great men and women like you, and to sit here with those who regard to as our fathers in the industry. And please, if you don't mind, a round of applause for Ali Baba himself, please. And to everyone who is seated here, Ambassador Uche and my sister. I follow your station, but this is the first time I'm seeing you one-on-one, so I'm a huge fan too. Let me go. please. And if you have not seen their station, please do. I would really. If you don't like it, come back. I'll pay you. But I know you like it. One of the things I would say is this, because whatever it is you want me to say, I think he said it all. That's the truth. For example, now this is a personal story. I know I had issues with my natural dad for music. It's not because I was a stubborn child at home. It's not because I went to do picking pockets. It's not because whatever it is, it was music. And I was disowned for music's sake. I also remember correctly, as an Igbo boy, fathers find it a bit difficult when you have a male child. And of course, I don't blame him after having grown up, right? You don't want your son with the mindset they also have when you have a male child. You want the best for the male child. So you want to invest in the male child. Now, all the people that made music back in the days, I think you can bring the volume down a bit. All the people that made music back in the days were always playing in protels. So you need to also understand his reasons for what he did. It's not out of hatred, right? So he didn't want me to end up that way. But did I understood it that way? No. I remember correctly, he came to my school then, and I don't know what he discussed with the principal. And imagine where, because of you, the school authorities gathered all the students in the assembly in the afternoon. And what was it? I was withdrawn from school. Music. But guess what? The same music is what has now taken care of that family for over 25 years. The same. So you see, just like Ali Baba said, absence of leadership. It's just recently we start having different record companies coming here, and even at that, go and check. I'm a record label owner, I can tell you, none of these people who have signed, whether it's Universal, whether it's all of them, they would never give you the same level of contracts they give to their people in the US. They will not. We don't have music structure in this country. And that's why you find many of us came out of our personal struggle. And when you're talking about absence of the business side of the music, let me tell you, we made music for the love of music. When you find comedians, when you find these people, whether it's acting, they did this because this is what they love. When I make music, I didn't know there was money to be made. I was just singing the love of singing. It's recently we started finding out, of course, when people came up, there was no social media. How we even managed to make hit records, I don't know. I'm being honest with you, I don't know. But as we now get along, you now get to know that there's money to be made. So I also believe some of this awareness can be brought in to help, especially most of our young people. But it still goes back to what he said, his absence of leadership. Having said that, I believe going forward, we can now look ahead and not dwell on what leadership vacuum have done to us. Now begin to chart a course on how to correct these issues in going forward so that we can get it right. Thank
Beautiful.
you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Incredible personal story there. And I think in addition to leadership, there's also a strong significance of the media's role in reorientating the space. And that's why I will reserve some very powerful questions for you at some point. I will come back to you. But let's move now to Dr. Uche. Dr. Uche, you're well known as an advocate for women advancement. You have spoken for women advancement, several platforms, and we have seen women break the glass ceilings in several corporate fields, right? But the report that we did at Africa No Filter showed us that despite the fact that Africa comes amongst the top 3 on the MasterCard index for the highest concentration of women business owners globally, Africa is in the top 3 for the destinations with the highest number of businesses owned by women and founded by women and run by women. But despite all of this, there's an evidence that shows that there's a decline in covering the success of women and women-run businesses in the media. Actually, the precise number is between 2017 and 2021. There was a reduction in women in business coverage in the media, both global media and African media. There was a reduction from 12% to 8%. What advice do you have for African media outfits to reverse this trend?
Okay, thank you very much. I feel honored to be on this panel. I'm talking about the role for media, about helping to advance the cause for women is actually very, very important. And there are a couple of stations in Nigeria that are doing well, and I want to give them credit tonight, clearly. It doesn't mean the other ones are not doing well, but they need to try harder. And please make sure you record it and play it very well. I want to give special thanks to News Central. Can we put our hands together for News Central? In case you don't know News Central, go to channel 422. Every day I tune in. I tune in every day. J. Martin is saying it's true, it's true. One thing I love about News Central is that they give it the way it is. Yeah. I noticed something happened recently when some people were talking about not allowing some people to give their opinion on media. News Central invited that person to come and talk. I love that. I mean, it's high time we stop using media as a political tool. In case you're into the media, yeah, you should understand that, you know,